Okay, that was weird. My something wasn't cooperating with me, and so I didn't show up, and so neither is anybody else, and I couldn't get it to work. But finally, obviously, it's working now. And this is not a boomer thing. This is, I just did an update. So every time I do an update, something goes funky with Streamlabs OBS. So anyway, good morning. It's Thursday on the Morning Night Live, and I'm happy to be here. Got my cup of reparations, and there's a few FTGs to give out today, but most of these just the big guy. Yes, the big guy definitely deserves an FTG today. So since people are probably just figuring out the show's starting, I am going to play the intro. Johnny, wake up over there. Play the damn intro. Yes, now. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. All right, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the PDawgKnight channel. I am refreshed and, all that stuff because I took the day off yesterday. But I took the day off for a very good reason. My daughter is officially married now. Long story behind that, because as you know, she just got engaged a couple months ago. But then she found out about a month later that she may be with child. So they decided to go ahead and do the official get married thing. They're still going to have a wedding off into the future, but they chose to just do that just as the peace thing yesterday. And we did that. Actually, it wasn't without a hitch because there was an odd little, what do you call it? I don't know. We had a hitch, let's put it that way, but we still were able to get it done yesterday. And so Lady Boomer and I and our son-in-law's mother, that's fun to say, got to see that. So yes, she is officially married now, and I'm gonna be a grandpa sometime in March probably. And so we're very proud of her. We're very proud of our son-in-law. We're very proud. We're excited. We really, really, really like him, and they are a great couple together, and I'm very, very happy. So anyway, and then after that, it's kind of funny because we intended to get this done at we went to the courthouse and then realized that she hadn't scheduled a judge to actually marry them. What she thought was what we were there for. She was there to finish the application for the marriage license. And we're like, oh, well, this didn't quite work out. And they didn't have any judges available. But fortunately, we found out that one of her friends who we knew was ordained, who was going to actually perform their wedding next year, which she's still going to do, he just happened to be available. So he drove over, did the this and that. And so they are legally bound to one another for forever. And I like to say forever, but yes, and they are great together, and we're excited, and I'm so happy. Okay, so it's a good thing. And yes, I'll be Papa Dog, exactly. So I didn't pay close attention to the news yesterday, obviously, but it's funny though, because we couldn't go in front of a judge. We drove over while we were waiting for her friend who's ordained to come over, because he had to come from another part of town. So we went to an Einstein's Bagel and had a little breakfast, had some coffee, and sat outside on their patio until he arrived. So they basically got married on the patio of an Einstein's Bagel. But that's okay. The papers are signed. She's sent them in, and I now have a son-in-law that we love very much. So anyway, then Lady Boomer and I, since he had worked that night, so he just was tired, and she had to work later in the day. Lady Boomer and I went to the Minnesota State Fair, and had a fantastic time there. And like I said, I keep saying the Minnesota State Fair is one of the great state fairs in the country, and it's also the second largest state fair behind Texas. It's huge, and when I'm saying living life, part of that was going to the Minnesota State Fair and seeing thousands of people there. And usually, now, the caveat is we went there on a weekday, and it's not as busy during the day, but it was still really busy, thousands of people, masked, unmasked, all whatever. And we had a great day. It was just fun. We went to one section of the fair that I had never been to. See, the Minnesota State Fair is on this huge multi-acre site that they have every year. And they use the fairgrounds for a lot of different things, but there are sections. I mean, I've been going to the Minnesota State for 30 some years, and there's sections I've just never been to. There's one whole street because it has multiple streets, and they're paved and all this stuff, and they have all these permanent buildings that they use for the whatchamacallit, the different food venues, and they have a huge midway where they have rides, and they have a whole another section of kiddie rides, and it's just a huge place. And I'd never been down one section of it. I'm like, oh well, now I guess I will now. And we walked down there, and we were looking at there was a whole section. Now look, I love antique cars. I love, not necessarily antique cars, but I love cars. I love antiques, hot rods, modifieds, all kinds of stuff. There was a whole section where they had all these antique tractors, and I guess I'm realizing that I just like to see antique vehicles in general. So anyway, we took a lot of video while we were there. There were a couple interesting exhibits there that we took video of. One was a video that was saying never again to the lockdowns, to the mandated vaccines, to Governor Walz himself, where we got some interesting video. I'll put that up on the channel sometime. And then also we saw one where, this one place that had these fabricated homes that they could use in places where there are big disasters. So there are these kind of there are these metal homes that they can ship in crates, and they can put them up in places like in Haiti or places where they have any kind of disaster. And that would be, that looks really cool too. I did a video on that. That'll probably be on my other channel though, because most of the state fair stuff is going to be on the other channel. I'll tell you when that is, but there's a couple things that were more political that I'll put on this channel separately as just kind of a quick ditty. So anyway, yes, Wikipedia snippet, there was like 3 steam powered tractors. They also had a lot of those, like they have some of those 1-cylinder engines running, and those are so cool. It's so weird to see a single cylinder engine, or an engine with a single piston, and cylinder. Had some of those running. They also had it was like a 1930s like Toro. It was kind of a utility tractor, but it's small, and it had a little dump truck on the back. I never saw one of those. Saw a lot of the ones, like there was a couple. There was a 1905. I'm trying to remember the brand of it, but yeah, there were a couple steam powered. There were some old single piston engines. There were all kinds of stuff. It was just I'm not even into tractors, but it was a cool thing to see. Anyway, real quick, thank you, Jimmy from Philly, first sponsor of the day. Appreciate you. And with the front via YouTube super chat, it says, Did you see my thing with Dr. K? But no, I will go back and watch it now. I haven't seen it yet. Thank you. By the way, good morning, sir. Nice to see you. And speaking of good morning, how about if I say good morning to everybody? Because it's now that a few people have gotten in here, I can do that. First in the chat today was our friend Wikipedia Snippet. Who I'm sure will have some links to different things we talk about. I just noticed that you do that on sometimes when you're on shows where you put like definitions. So that's very cool. Thank you for doing that. Also, good morning, Jonathan Peterson. Good morning, Dom O'Leary. Hello, Mike Savage, Blarg. Also, GunFox61, our administrator of our Discord server. Thank you for being here. Good morning also, Legit Low Talker. And also Kessler, Maniac Man. Hey, where you been? Nice to see you. Went to sleep around 3 a.m. 30 minutes later, second wind kicked in. Well, there you go. That's not good, is it? Oh, yeah, you do have an FML there, so I got you. Also, good morning, Advocatus Diaboli, the Devil's Advocate, Buster's Outlaw 2. Good morning, Shiagraph, Attack Alpaca, Hate Camel. Good morning, K-Show. Renee Mayette's in the house. Jimmy from Philly. MC. Hammer time. Also, good morning, Road Dog. Nice to see you, Mr. Yes. Hello, Special K on Acid, Green Thunder to Mighty. You're a ridiculous lunatic. That is not a statement about Green Thunder to Mighty. That is a name. You're a ridiculous lunatic. Good morning. Also, good morning, Jim Beam. Did I say Jim Beam already? Well, I don't know, but maybe not. And Bosch Tube and Tyler F. The gang is rolling in the house. So yeah, and Jimmy, I will check out your thing with Dr. K. That doesn't sound right. I'm not going to check out your thing. I'm just going to check out whatever it is you did with Mr. K on your channel. By the way, subscribe to other people who are in the chat because everyone has interesting stories. Jimmy from Philly has interesting streams from now and then I tend to hang out at. So good deal. All right. Oh, and good morning, Maddie. I missed a couple of your shows due to hopping time zones again. Well, yesterday you didn't miss anything because I was at the Minnesota State Fair after watching my daughter get married yesterday morning. And then, well, if you didn't hear that, you'll have to go back to the beginning of the show. But yes, I am. I have a married daughter now. I have a son-in-law now, and I have a future. Well, there's a bean in there. There's a bean in there that's going to be a beanstalk someday, and we're looking forward to it. You'll be in Minnesota in November to help your parents. Hey, well, hey, Maddie, come. You know who to call. Call Ghostbusters, aka PDawgKnight, and maybe we can go hang out for a beer or just some lunch or something. You know how it goes. All right, shall we get into it? Like I said, I was kind of sheltered from the news yesterday, even though there's a ton of it. And holy shit, this whole Afghanistan thing, it just gets weirder by the day. Black Hebrew Israelite is here.
That's right.
I have a dream that you gave me the bell. Well, occasionally I do give you the bell. It happens. So anyway. All right. I didn't hit, there's the tweet. I didn't do the tweet either. The point of this show today, though, is even though it's FTG Thursday, I just got to reemphasize this. People, you got to live your life. You know, I'm just in such a good mood from yesterday. You know, knowing that my daughter's married to a good man. Jess is awesome. Just that, you know, her friend, his name's Abel, came through when we kind of needed him to, because she just wanted to get it done, you know, and it's, and there's a couple things, you know, she'll be on, now they'll be able to combine their insurance and stuff like that, but that's not even it. They're married. She loves this guy so much, and he's such a great guy. And, you know, I think they're going to be great parents, and, but they're just living their life, you know, and going to the state fair yesterday, seeing so many people just out there enjoying themselves, not worrying about, you know, the coof, not worrying about all kinds of things, and just out there living their life. And it was busy. It was good to see people out, and everyone's outdoors, you know, the idea that you're going, where is it, in Oregon, where Kate Brown's having outdoor mask mandates? F that noise. And there were some people in masks, and you know what? If people want to wear masks, they can wear masks. I don't care. If that makes them feel happy, it makes them feel comfortable. Oh, the Jimmy of Pac-Man interview. No, is that what you're talking about, Jimmy? Jimmy from Philly? Oh no, I gotta check that out. Where is that? How long did that last? Hang on a second. We might have to pull that up on the show today. Holy smokes. Let's see. Let me find this real quick. Hang on. Now, oh my gosh, how long did that go? Was that on Pac-Man channel or Jimmy's channel? Here, hold on. Here, let me find this. Okay, Pac-Man. I am curious. Pac-Man. Whose channel is that on? Anyone know?
So now a fight broke out.
Hang on. No, I don't want to see that, Jimmy. Or Pac-Man. Fuck Pac-Man. No, I don't. What? No, I don't want that. This
is the David.
Oh, shut up, David. Fuck you. Damn it. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'm not seeing it. Oh, good Lord. Someone tell me where that is. For any Australia listeners, please don't do coke. There's a bunch of going around laced with heroin. My friend's son and partner overdosed. One will probably not survive. Oh, that's not good. Where is that happening? Wow, weird. Let's see. Haven't seen it, Uncle Bad Touch yet. Is Uncle Bad Touch here?
Come on, man.
Is Uncle Bad Touch here? I didn't see you there. If I missed you. Oh, David Pac-Man has 1 billion views now. Yippee. Healthy. Tell you what, if anyone has the link to that Dr. K interview, Jimmy from Philly in particular, if you have that, put it in the chat and or DM me or something. Anyway, let's get into today's stuff. Oh, Grill and Pirate Pete's doing some cooking today, by the way. I always like to feature these. I always like to. What the hell did I just do? There we go. Let me put this on the screen. Oh, what the hell did I do there? Hang on. All right, let's find this. So, Grill and Pirate Pete, who's a regular on the show, is smoking a pork shoulder roast today at the Cove. 9-pound roast. Oh, he got a sale for $13.36, coated with a generous rib rub, and it's going to be smoked with applewood. Outstanding. Oh, Jimmy, you didn't have to. I appreciate you throwing some dollars down and sponsoring the show, which of course gets you one of these. But just tell me in the chat, because I was looking for you. Oh, well, Pete, I just featured your. Look at this. Take a look. There's your. There's that rib roast you were just telling me about. Because I love to see it when you're got the smoking going. Anyway, all right. Let me figure this out. Healthy Gamer Channel. All right, let's find that. Healthy Gamer. Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's an hour and 41 minutes long. All right, I am definitely gonna bookmark that for watching later. Add to watch, save to watch later. I'm definitely gonna watch that. In fact, I'm gonna put a link to this out here for y'all. Let's see. Come on. All I want to do here. Let me just do this. I'll pause this. All right. So if anyone's interested, so here's the thing. Jimmy has been calling into the David Pakman show for quite a while. And he could explain this better, but apparently Pakman thinks that Jimmy has some, how would you describe it, Jimmy? Like, so he thinks you have some mental issues or something. And so he has some psychiatrist or psychologist, something, and decided to have a, he thinks it's an intervention, but I just gotta see this. I gotta watch this now. In fact, I'll tell you what, I can tell you what I'm gonna be doing this afternoon as I'm driving around, schlepping sandwiches around for people. I am gonna be listening to this because I've been waiting to see this interview, and we might even do some select clips from it tomorrow because I've been waiting for this one. This is going to be good. All right. So here is the link in the chat. If you want to watch it yourself, that's the link that the YouTube link I just put in the chat. That is Jimmy from Philly and Dr. K talking to David Pakman. I can't wait. I want to stop the stream right now and watch it because I can just imagine. I can just imagine how good it was. But let's get into some news because, and again, I have a whole bunch of tabs on this one subject that I'm only going to hit real quick because there's so much shit on Afghanistan that I'm just going to put all the articles in the link in the description down below like I do on the daily. Was just watching Mark Dice talking about school board meeting with parents. I read about the commie teacher who the board was forced to fire because he was finally exposed. Yeah, I saw that story too. That's the guy that Project Veritas found, right? Good. You're talking about the Antifa guy, or I'm assuming you mean the Antifa guy, right? Yeah, that was crazy. All right, but okay, let me get back into my show here. Starting today with the big news is apparently what is an impeachable offense for some presidents may or may not be an impeachable offense for other presidents. I'm just telling you. There is a phone call that is getting a lot of attention today. Before I tell you that, though, thank you, Tall Person. Nice to see you with a deuce on Streamlabs. And Tall Person,
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Thank you so much for sponsoring the show. Tall Person says, hi. Just stopping in to throw some shekels and wish you all a happy World Coconut Day. You know, Tall Person, who I appreciate you. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show, of course. Do you know that coconut can be a racist term?
Resist. We must.
Whoops, wrong one. Anyway, happy World Coconut Day! Yes! Happy World Coconut Day, everybody. All right. The one exposed by Veritas. Yeah, that Antifa guy. Again, that would have been yesterday's show if I had done it. But we made it. I might click up something today. But let's get into this. Let's start with the not so perfect phone call. Here from the Washington Free Beacon. Biden pressured Afghan president to change withdrawal optics, whether it's true or not. And that is a quote. Whether it is true or not, unbelievable. Apparently, transcript was leaked by a noble patriot. Now, remember, when whistleblowers in the administration leak information, they are heroes, right? Because what's that Vindman guy? Isn't he a hero to some? Well, maybe this person should be thought of as a hero too. I'm curious what people think about this. President Joe Biden in a July 23rd phone call repeatedly pressured the president of Afghanistan to project a different picture, quote unquote, of the U.S. military withdrawal. Quote, whether it is true or not. That is a quote of Joe Biden. According to a transcript leaked by a noble patriot who risked his or her life to tell the American people the truth about our reckless commander-in-chief. Quote, I need not tell you the perception around the world and in parts of Afghanistan, I believe is that things aren't going well in terms of the fight against the Taliban, Biden told Afghan President Ashraf Ghani during the 14-minute phone call. There is a need, whether it's true or not, there is a need to project a different picture. Oh, is there now? Ghani, who fled the country three weeks later as the Taliban advanced toward Kabul, urged Biden to authorize American air support to assist the Afghan army, which was facing a full-scale invasion. The president declined, suggesting instead that Afghan leaders hold a press conference to, quote, change the perceptions, end quote, that the Taliban was going on the verge of taking over the country. Biden's repeated efforts to pressure Ghani into making false and misleading statements about the situation in Afghanistan, especially during a conversation about a U.S. financial and military assistance, is likely to rouse concern among voters who oppose corruption and abuses of power from their leaders. The contents of the call were first reported by Reuters. Oh, that right-wing nut job organization that constantly rips on Democrats. I mean, oh yeah, not really. Anyway, whose reporters reviewed a transcript and recording of the conversation between the two leaders. Given the embarrassing and potentially impeachable nature of Biden's remarks, these materials were likely revealed by a noble patriot who eschews partisanship because his or her only loyalty is the United States Constitution. This is going nowhere in this Congress. I guarantee it. In fact, I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi and the people who are pulling the strings probably celebrate the great victory and noble ending of the Afghan war by a courageous president who knew that criticism for pulling the troops out would be just unbearable. I'm sorry, I almost bit my tongue off. It so far planted in my cheek. Anyway, so not a good thing. Let's just put it that way. You can read the rest yourself. Also, and as when asked about this phone call, though, Jen Psaki, yes, the cup of warm Japanese liquor. I should never use the word liquor and Jen Psaki in the same sentence. Anyway, she refused to address the situation. In fact, here's a couple clips that are just, well, you know. Here's Jen Psaki.
One on Afghanistan. There's some reporting that we'd like to confirm regarding a call in July, between President Biden and former Afghanistan President Ghani. One, that both leaders appeared completely unaware that the Taliban would take over, and secondly, that they discussed plans to project that Afghan forces were still in control. Is that accurate? Can you tell us a little bit more about that call?
Well, I'm not going to get into private diplomatic conversations or leaked transcripts of phone calls.
We're not? Whoa! Wait a minute. We're not going to get into private conversations or leaked phone calls. Interesting, because I could have sworn that when whistleblowers leak information that's detrimental to a White House, that's a noble and good thing, isn't it? Oh, we're not going to address this. Good morning, Robert Chalk. Good morning. Who else? Why are you so angry? And happy Thursday. Wondering who and where all the factories that manufacture the V-Axes and war machines are. I don't know. Did Kamala lead the transcript? Maybe can't wait to be president. Ooh. Oh, damn. I hadn't even thought of that angle. Anyway, here's Jen Psaki not answering the question.
But what I can reiterate for you is that we have stated many times that no one anticipated, the vast majority, I should say, there may have been individuals and agencies, so I don't want to eliminate that option, but...
What did she just say? I'm sorry. I was saying hi. I was thinking about saying hi to Jen, and I lost track. I'm gonna go back a little bit here. I'm gonna circle back. Let's circle back a little bit. What did she just say?
for you is that we have stated many times that no one anticipated, the vast majority, I should say, there may have been individuals and agencies, so I don't want to eliminate that option.
No one anticipated what? Did you notice she didn't say anticipated? That's about what it sounded like. Did she finish that sentence?
But what I can reiterate for you is that we have stated many times that no one anticipated, the vast majority, I should say, there may have been individuals and agencies, so I don't want to eliminate that option, but our national security team and no one in Congress, or I would say most people out in the public anticipated that the Taliban would be able to take over the country as quickly as they did, or that the Afghan National Security Forces would fold as quickly as they did.
Whoa,
so even
now
the content of the reporting is consistent with what we've said many times publicly.
Whoa. But that's not the problem here. That's not the problem here. That's not the problem, Miss Saki. Problem is he told the Afghan president to lie about how things were going. So when someone asked the Afghan president, well, how things are going, and the Afghan president, according to Joe Biden, should have said, things are going swimmingly. That's a lie. He asked the president of Afghanistan to lie. What were the words? Hang on a second. Hang on 1 second, because I'm going to go back to that article. Let's see here. Let's just take Jen Psaki off my screen and go back to this article. What were the words he used? The words he used were, and I quote, whether it's true or not. You know, he likes to whisper too, whether it's true or not. That's an interesting take there, Jen Psaki. When he said, that's the problem. The problem is the whether it's true or not line.
Publicly. I'll also note something that the
what else? What is he going to note? What else? No. This ain't about the press conference. She ain't asking about the press conference. But let's see what she says anyway.
On the same time of this reported phone call, the Afghan government and leadership has to come together. They clearly have the capacity to sustain the government in place. The question is, will they generate the kind of cohesion to do it? And what the president conveyed publicly and certainly privately as well, repeatedly to Afghan leaders, as did our national security officials, is that it's important that the leaders in Afghanistan do exactly that, lead, and show the country that they are ready to continue to the fight against the Taliban, that they have the will for the Afghan National Security Forces.
Well, here, I'm going to let her finish the sentence, and then I'm going to add the caveat.
To continue that fight, even as our U.S. forces leave.
Whether it's true or not. She forgot to leave that part in. Whether it's true or not. Good Lord. And, well, wait, there's more. There's more. Oh, is this the same thing? This is like the same thing. Was the president anyway pushing a false narrative in that call? The Afghan president. Oh, a second reporter asked her more. Here, let's see. Here we go.
I just want to put a pin in that report. Was the president in any way pushing a false narrative in that call with the Afghan president?
Okay, so that's the question. Was the president in that call anyway pushing a false narrative? Oh, that's an interesting pause game. Anyway.
I think it's pretty clear. Again, I'm not going to go.
I think it's pretty clear that he was. Oh, I'm sorry. What did she say?
Into details of a private conversation. But
private
what
conversation.
We saw over the course of the last
president, private conversation, FOIA request. There's no such thing as a private conversation with the president of the United States. Apparently, if you ask, let's ask, what's his name? Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Vindman. Did he get demoted or anything? No, he didn't. Vindman, remember him? Is there really anything as such as a private conversation? I don't know. Now, granted, he didn't get removed. The guy with the funny hair never got removed from office for it, but still, they impeached him for that, didn't they? It was about a phone call. Anyway.
Last few months is a collapse in leadership. And that was happening even before Ghani left the country. What the president has conveyed repeatedly, privately, and publicly is you need to stand up and lead your country. And that's something he said at a press conference in July in public forum as well.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, Fascinating answer there, Jen. Anyway, let's move on here. And now Miranda Devine, who's not a fan of Mr. Biden, has quite the editorial in the New York Post regarding this here. And I'm going to she's saying that Biden's call to Afghan president is impeachable. Now, okay, so she says, hey, Nancy Pelosi, still looking for a phone call worth impeaching a president? Do I have news for you? Reuters has a bombshell report. Sorry if you're watching it, listening on headphones, about a July phone call between Joe Biden and then Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani, in which the U.S. president promises military aid in return for the perception around the world and in parts of Afghanistan, I believe, is that things aren't going as well as in terms of the fight against the Taliban, says Biden in the July 23rd call. And there is a need, whether it is true or not, there is a need to project a different picture. Whether it is true or not. No, things weren't going well. 3 weeks after the U.S. abandoned Bagram airfield in the dead of the night, Biden's solution was to create the perception that all was well. All is well. Nothing to see here. All was fine. He wanted to keep the illusion going long enough to cover his August 31st self-imposed deadline to withdraw U.S. troops and to have a victory lap on September 11th, when he would preen as the first president to end the forever war, even though that really wasn't his plan, now was it? So yes, Ghani to trick up an event to make it look as if he had planned to push back on the Taliban to reassure American allies who were beginning to question Biden's timetable. Anyway, let's just say she's critical and lays out reasons why it's impeachable. I'm not going to get into this. I'm going to keep going on. So here's 6 lies Joe Biden told about Afghanistan from the New York Post. And let's keep score. Let's see. Let's get this centered correctly. There we go. That just looks good. 6 lies Joe Biden told about Afghanistan. How can any American, and I mean any American, believe anything President Biden says after he's lied so blatantly about an Afghanistan evacuation he claims was an extraordinary success? Yeah, I didn't even get to do that. He did. Here's the other post if you want to know where he said that. This is the article about his speech where he thinks it's an extraordinary success. Oh wait, how many Americans did we leave behind? How much equipment did we leave behind? How many service dogs did we leave behind? How much weaponry did we give the Taliban? Holy shit, have you seen that list yet? Oh my God. Anyway, that's another editorial over here. Wait, this is the run. So let's go through the 6 lies. Thank you, Maddie, by the way, with the fire. Oh, and Maddie, you were just now.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Now I hit that at the wrong time. I'm going to try that again. Here, Maddie.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Thank you, Maddie, who gave us a limerick today. Let's enjoy a limerick via Maddie. In fact, I'm going to just take this off the screen for a minute so you can enjoy this as we read. So everyone perk up your ears. By the way, good morning, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadian. Maddie, who says, there once was a press secretary named Saki, whose competency... Oh, okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna say it a different way, because I always say sake as in the Japanese liquor, which I should never use the word liquor and sake in the same sentence. But anyway, there once was a press secretary named Saki, whose competency was quite lacking. She spun the words, winning over the herds, but smart people sent her packing. Yes! Thank you very much, Maddie, for for your creativity and keen sense of decency. And but we have a new donor, and I'm not sure who this Andrew Jackson fellow is, but Andrew Jackson,
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
with a Jackson. Jackson, in fact, dropped a Jackson. Thank you, sir. Jen is like a cocktail comprised of Jägermeister, peach schnapps, and cranberry juice. A red-headed slut. Is that what that's called? Jägermeister, peach schnapps, and cranberry. Now, as a what's the word for this? An aficionado of the consuming of Jägermeister, I'm not feeling that drink. Jägermeister, peach schnapps, and cranberry juice. It could be interesting. I don't know, but apparently is that called a redheaded slut, Andrew Jackson? You don't have to answer, but thank you for the Jackson via Andrew Jackson. And yes, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day. I greatly appreciate you. All right, let me continue here. And by the way, good morning, Jesse Leon. I'm so late, I'm nearly gay. What? I don't know what that means. And also, good morning, always lost is nothing else, aka alone. All right, let me get back into this. First lie that Biden's told, of many, but here's 6. We got 6 lies. This is a New York Post article. 6 lies Joe Biden told about Afghanistan. Number 1 lie, quote, Americans understand we're going to try and get done before August 31st. President Biden told ABC News' George Stephanopoulos on August 19th, quote, and if there are American citizens left, we're going to stay until we get them all out. He reiterated the promise the next day at the White House. But let me be clear, any Americans who wants to come home, we will get you home. The truth, even Biden himself admits Americans remain stranded in Afghanistan as he withdrew the last U.S. forces before getting them home. 90% of Americans in Afghanistan who wanted to leave were able to leave, he said Tuesday. Well, that wouldn't be 100% now, isn't it? U.S. Central Command head General Frank McKenzie confirmed the day before that some Americans trying to escape couldn't get to the Kabul airport, and the last 5 jets left without a single American on board. That is fuckery of the greatest degree. Lie number 2. Lie. We're making the same commitment, Biden said August 20th, to Afghans who assisted America in the war effort. Those Afghans who have worked alongside us, served alongside us, gone into combat with us, and provided invaluable assistance to us, he said. They're equally important. Almost.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
The truth is, on Wednesday, a senior State Department official confessed to NBC News that the majority of Afghans who helped the United States did not make it out of Kabul. The official didn't have the number of special immigrant visa applicants who remain in Afghanistan, but he said it's the majority of them. I'm going to reemphasize that. The majority of them are still in Afghanistan. Lie number 3. Hang on a second. Lie number 3. The quote, the United States stands by its commitment that we've made to these people, and it includes other vulnerable Afghans such as women leaders and journalists, he said on August 20th. Why the fuck you lying? Truth. Team Biden didn't even assure American employed journalists made it to safety. 500 U.S. Agency for Global Media journalists working for outlets such as Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, and their family members were left to the mercy of the Taliban, who have already begun bullying Afghan reporters. Sources told USA Today that miscommunication, quote unquote, and, quote, the Taliban not clearing them for exit, end quote, were to blame. Just 50 U.S.-sponsored journalists made it out, thanks to other governments, not our own. Holy shit. Lie number 4. Asked by a reporter on July 8th, quote, "Do you see any parallels between this withdrawal and what happened in Vietnam?" Biden was indignant. "None whatsoever. Zero." Truth. Not even a month after Biden spoke those words, pictures came from Kabul of a U.S. helicopter flying over the American embassy. Nearly 200 Americans fled the Barron Hotel on Chinooks when they couldn't reach the Kabul airport just 650 feet away any other way. Line number 5 of the 6 that they're coming through here with. Biden vowed to continue providing the Afghan army with air support. "I'll insist we continue keeping the commitments we made of providing close air support, making sure that their Air Force functions and is operable," he said on August 10th. He made promises to Afghan President Ashraf Ghani in a July 23rd phone call that was leaked Wednesday. Quote, "We will continue to provide close air support," Biden said, "and all the way through the end of August, and who knows what after that."
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Truth. The Wall Street Journal reported August 14th, in the wake of President Biden's withdrawal decision, the U.S. pulled out its air support, intelligence, and contractors servicing Afghans' planes and helicopters. That meant the Afghan military simply couldn't operate anymore. That puts paid to Biden. Wait. That puts something to Biden's repeated request that the Afghan army simply folded because it didn't want to fight. Oh, that is significant. Because remember, he kept saying that, well, the Afghan army just didn't want to fight. Well, they weren't getting the air support. They weren't getting it. Holy shit. And finally, the last line that they're putting on here, quote, "Your own intelligence community has assessed that the Afghan government will likely collapse," a reporter told the president July 8th, to which a defensive Biden responded, quote, "That is not true." He added that the likelihood that there's going to be the Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is is highly unlikely.
Why the fuck you lying?
The truth. In fact, Biden knew the Taliban were overtaking the Afghan government and asked Ghani to lie about it. The perception, quote, "is things that are not going well in terms of the fight against the Taliban," end quote, Biden said, quote, "and there is a need," again these words, "whether it is true or not, there is a need to project a different picture." Ghani gave him the facts. "We are facing a full-scale invasion composed of Taliban, full Pakistani planning and logistical support, and at least 10 to 15,000 international terrorists, predominantly Pakistanis, thrown into this." Biden ignored them. So yeah, maybe that's why the Afghans lay down so quickly. Puts paid to is afraid. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, so yeah, I'm not familiar with that phrase. That puts paid to Biden's repeated claim that the Afghan army is simply folded because it didn't want to fight. Yeah, they didn't have their air support. So anyway, that is interesting. Very interesting. All right, next. Already did that one. I will have the article about Biden's speech from August 30th. But I think we might even have gone through that on Monday. Today's Wednesday, right? No, today's Thursday. Fuck, my days are blending together because having the day off for my daughter's getting married yesterday was a whole different thing. So anyway, we've already gone through this. Oh no, here, let's a little more Jen Psaki. Biden White House spins, dodges, and stops short on questions about what went wrong in Afghanistan. Let's just watch the clips. I think there's only one here. No, there's two. There's three. Well, let's go through all three of them. Let's see what goes on here. Despite President Biden's effort to project steely resolve in leaving Afghanistan, members of his administration have seemed reluctant to answer questions about things that went wrong. So here's Jen Psaki from Wednesday. Maybe.
That was in motion.
Yeah, except for that ad.
They were put on hold.
Hang on a second. Well, while I'm doing this, I will make this full screen and make it look pretty. Oh, I can skip the ad. Hang on. And I can't skip that ad, so that's good timing. And we will skip that ad too. Full size this bad boy and start it over. Where's the mute? Oh, here we go.
Fox confirmed that a number of journalists working for U.S. Agency for Global Media, a federally funded agency.
After our just about 2 days after our last planes depart.
And we're hearing about some journalists who were left behind. Fox confirmed that a number of journalists working for U.S. Agency for Global Media, a federally funded agency.
Okay, hold on. Let me just stop for a second. I don't think this is a Fox reporter. Is it anyone know who this reporter is? This is not a Fox correspondent. And they're referring to Fox responding. Now, unless they mean somebody named Fox, that's interesting. All the journalists seem to be on the same page here now. That is unheard of, especially being critical of a Democratic administration. But I think there's blood in the water. Anyone else agree with that? I think there's blood in the water.
Agency, Congress, including Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty journalists were left behind, and we're now also hearing from some senior State Department officials that there were constraints getting people through the gates at HKIA, that some of the communication methods to contact people were available to so many that they were instantly ubiquitous, that those priority groups could not get through.
Okay, hold on. If you happen to be watching Jen while she's listening to this question, does she look like she's happy to be there? And okay, let's do a question for the chat right now. And this is also for those of you watching the replay. This is the question of the day. If you are watching the replay, you can put a comment in the comment section about this. And for the chat, we'll just ask you right now, because we're going to do an over and under question. What is the over and under of starting today of how long Jen Psaki will remain as the press secretary? And not because she'll be fired, but because she will probably step down. What's your over and under for Jen Psaki remaining the White House press secretary? Okay, you put that in the chat, and if you're watching on a replay, put it in the comment section.
That a contingency that was planned for?
Well, Jackie, I think it's important to remember, again, 120,000 people made it out of the airport and out of the country.
Here's the other part. They love this. 120,000 people made it out of the country. We don't care about who got out. And also, here's the other part. 120,000 got out. Oh, how many of those were Americans and how many Americans are left behind? Okay. How many, the other article said at least half, is it SIVs? Half, more than half, a majority of the SIVs. Now, granted, the SIVs should have had priority over any other Afghans wanting to get out. A majority of the SIVs could not get out. So every time they tell you, oh, this was a big airlift, this was a huge success, we got 120,000 people out, nobody cares. Great, you got 120,000 people out. How many Americans are left? How many SIVs are left? How many people that we think should be out of Afghanistan are still there? And why is it that when you said our military is going to stay till every American we want out gets out, how come there's no one there getting them out then? You made your deadline, right? But there's a lot of people left behind.
And our commitment to people who want to evacuate, want to leave, American citizens, journalists, Afghan partners who have stood by our side, is enduring and remains.
Okay.
I know there's been some reporting on this, so let me give you just a couple of examples, because now we can talk about this, of some of.
Let me give you some talking points. Let me tell you. But they did manage to get a whole bunch of confirmed watch list terrorists. Yes, they did, didn't they? That's a success, right? Hey, good morning, infamous one, by the way.
the ways that we work to get American citizens out. The most used method was the muster point, or what we called the muster point. The State Department would blast notifications through a variety of channels to American citizens telling them to meet at a specific location.
Where they proceeded to get blown up. Oh, I'm sorry, those weren't Americans, but, well, the soldiers were. Or the American military personnel were. Those that muster, you know, wasn't that at that one of those gates? Yeah, that how'd that work anyway? What else here?
From which we would either bus them into the airport in convoys or escort people on foot. We offered multiple opportunities.
Okay, you're giving us lists of people that got out, but that's not what we're asking about. We're asking about the people who didn't get out. Oh, she's saying those people. I bet you she says something like, those people didn't want to get out. Is that what she's about to say?
Each of these muster points at various times, each with multiple transits to the airport. The majority of American citizens who got out were evacuated exactly this way.
Okay.
We also talked people through one-on-one walking into the airport with State Department officials on the phone, on the other end of the phone the whole time, facilitating safe passage past checkpoints.
Interesting, because didn't the British and French didn't just let them, here's the instructions to get here. And if you get here, God bless you, right? Bless your heart. But if you didn't get here, well, you're kind of fucked. But the British and the French sent people out to go get their people. And in fact, the British and French got some of our people and helped them out. Oh, but why do we not do that? In fact, I got to go back and see if I can find this report, because I don't know if it's true or not. Because anything that happens from over there, I just don't know. Everything you got to take with a grain of salt. But the idea that the Taliban said that the Americans could have kept Kabul and controlled the points in Kabul, why didn't they do it? You brought 7,000 extra soldiers in there. Why didn't you take that offer instead of just protecting the airport? So much of this, I mean, it's a stupid thought, but it's almost, some of it seems freaking intentional. I don't think it is. Holy shit.
This was incredibly labor intensive, but effective at resolving problems on the ground, one by one, in challenging environments. In limited cases, and some of this was reported, where people were trapped or in immediate danger, U.S. security forces went beyond the wire, sometimes even a helicopter, to pick people up safely. We didn't talk about...
Oh, that was before, though. That was before. That was when they were getting people out of the embassy, right? And that hotel. They did go out with helicopters. Oh, my God.
These helo hops at the time, because they were dangerous missions. We didn't want to create the expectation that we'd be sending a helicopter for everyone who wanted to leave Afghanistan. So I note those because I think it's important to understand the steps and the roles that our U.S. military on the ground took, far beyond just checking people off on a list at the gate, to ensure we could get American citizens, our Afghan partners, and others out. And we will continue those efforts through the means I just outlined.
Okay, hang on now. Hang on. I just thought of something, and let me find something real quick, and it's going to take me a minute because give me 1 second. It's a clip that I need to have in my repertoire that I don't right now. Hang on. And it'll just have to be a listen here. Hang on a second. I'm going to turn it off down here. Can I still hear when I do that? I don't know if I can. Hang on. Just a second. Give it a second. Oh, come on. Find it. Find it. Here we go. I got it. Here we go. This is what I need. And I'm sorry that you have to just sit me watch me do this, but I needed this clip right here. But I haven't clipped it yet. But this needs to go into my soundboard. Whoops. Right here. I can't believe I spent so much time doing that, but I needed it. I need one of those. Sorry. And if you're an 80s kid, you know what that was. Anyway.
In that report, was the president in any way pushing a false narrative in that call?
Oh, good question.
I think it's pretty clear. Again,
we already had this one. Let me move down to this one now. Let's see. I'm not going to. Okay, that's the details of private conversation. I'm curious. Oh, now this is fascinating. Mehdi Hassan talking to White House Chief of Staff Ron Klein asked a question that Ron Klein didn't seem to want to answer either. Let me put this on the screen.
Ron, will the United States be recognizing the Taliban as the government of Afghanistan anytime soon?
I don't think anytime soon. I don't know if we will ever recognize their government. What we know is that the Taliban says they're going to form a government. We'll see what that looks like. We'll see what kind of credentials they present. More importantly, we'll see what their conduct is. Do they honor their commitments to allow freedom of travel? Do they respect human rights? I think the question of recognizing a new government in Afghanistan is down the road here.
Okay. No, it didn't. Okay. So are they going to recognize the Taliban as a government? Well, they seem to be doing a lot of negotiation with the Taliban, seems like. Apparently they're relying on the Taliban to get some of the people left out. Now, to answer your question, Avocado, it didn't take me that long to find Dead or Alive, and that would be the band that sings You Spin Me Round. It didn't take me that long to find it. It took me that long to find the section of the song that I needed. I could have, because I don't want to play too much of it and get, whatchamacallit. One of those content or the copyright claims, or they take
will the United States,
where they take my 0.1% of a penny away from me from YouTube for playing someone's music. But anyway, I finding it was no problem. I just got to be able to clip out that part of the song. All right. Way more technical information than you needed. All right, let's keep going here because you got the idea. They're going to spin this and make it look like this is a great victory. Now, here's another problem too. Reporter calls out State Department for not having numbers on green card holders in Afghanistan. Associated Press reporter Matt Lee confronted State Department spokesman Ned Price at a briefing Wednesday on the number of green card holders remaining in Afghanistan and whether the U.S. planned to evacuate them. President Joe Biden defended the evacuation, yes, we know, during an address Tuesday, claiming that 90% of U.S. citizens who wanted to leave the country were evacuated. That 90% is not enough, but it is what it is. Anyway, Secretary's, here it is. How long is this clip? Too long. This is already bookmarked at the clip. So here's, this would be, it's not Blinken. This is, Mike Lee. No, that's the reporter's Mike Lee. I'm sorry. The Ned Price. This is Ned Price's answer. Here's the question and answer from Lee to Price.
With that, happy to resume your questions.
Great. Thanks, Dan. I just want to drill down a little bit into this 100 to 200 who remain U.S. citizens. These are passport holders, right? This does not include LPRs?
That is correct.
Well, what's then... You must have some estimate of LPRs who are still there. Who want to get out, and if you don't,
they don't know.
Why not?
Well, Matt, let me first start with this issue of the 100 to 200, and to reiterate a couple pieces that Undersecretary Nuland said. We've been at this point of 100 to 200 over the past couple days. You heard
they keep saying 100 to 200, but I remember when they were estimating how many. I don't know if they were counting in the number of passport holders when they were saying it was like at some point I remember them saying something about 7,000 to 8,000, right? And we got like 5,000 people out. Now I don't know if that includes dual citizen passport holders or what, But and then they say, but now they're saying there's a few hundred left that they haven't gotten out. Well, how do they reconcile the difference between, the 5,000 some and 7,000 some being just a couple hundred? I haven't figured that out. So that may just be remembering something wrong. I don't know. But anyway.
From Secretary Blinken, you heard this from the president as well. But it is also true that over the past couple days, and in fact overnight, we have been in touch with everyone in that remaining 100 to 200. And
Wait. If you've been in touch with everyone, did you hear what he just said? We've been in touch with every one of the between 100 and 200. Well, if you've been in touch with every one of them, why don't you know how many there are? That makes no sense.
A little bit more fidelity on that group that we've been able to garner over the past couple days. We have said that the number is likely closer to 100. Everything we have seen.
Well, but you've been in touch with all of them. How can you not? If you've been in touch with every one of them, you would know exactly if it's closer to the 100 or 200. You're like, it's likely closer to the 100 or 200? What are you talking about?
Over the course of the past 48 to 72 hours indicates that is in fact the case. The number is likely closer to 100, perhaps considerably closer to 100.
Are you just trying to make it sound better? Did Joe Biden talk to you two on a phone call and said whether it's true or not? Because that's... Whether it's true or not. Remember that phrase. I should make t-shirts. Whether it's true or not. Whether it's true or not. Holy shit. With a picture of Joe Biden. Whether it's true or not. With a blank look on his face.
Number is dynamic. It will go down. And in fact, we have received confirmation that some of the individuals we initially included in this range of 100 to 200 were in fact never in Afghanistan, or were not in Afghanistan when we were doing that outreach, or have safely returned home in recent hours.
Okay, the other part, so they've been in contact, but we've been in contact with every single one of them, he says. How the hell? Where was it? They're just pulling numbers out of their ass. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's see, hang on a second.
I'm asking about green card holders,
right,
who you also have a responsibility to, along with the SIVs.
Good for you, Mike.
But now I
don't know who's Mike with. Mike is with Associated Press. Good for, you know what? Sometimes you need a crisis for the press, to be honest, I think. Although I don't know how they're reporting it. Are they reporting it the way the White House wants it? Clearly the Daily Caller has been paying attention, though.
About green card holders. Was there a decision made at some point to forget about those people and only allow U.S. passport holders in and onto into the airport through your checkpoints?
Well, clearly they've let at least 110 to 115,000 people who weren't passport holders, because they got 120,000 people out and only 5,000 some were Americans. So they somehow got all these other people out. In fact, some of them been on, they had fake papers, and they've already figured it out that some of these are people who probably shouldn't have got on no planes, but they didn't get the passport holders out, and they didn't get the green card holders out. Or they didn't get all the Americans out. This is unbelievable. And maybe, granted, again, I'm given the fact that this was, in fact, a logistics nightmare. But our own president told somebody that we wouldn't pull out until we got every American who wanted to get out. Oh, but they made their deadline. In fact, they made their deadline a day early in getting all the troops out. So how are we getting them out now? Are we relying on the Taliban and commercial flights in and out of Kabul? How many commercial flights are going in and out of Kabul right now anyway? And who is protecting those commercial flights coming in and out of Kabul? And are any of those commercial flights, are they bringing any Americans out? Or any of the green card holders out? Or anybody out? Okay, and here's even a bigger question. And I don't know the answer to this one, but who the hell would get on a commercial flight right now going to Kabul? Holy shit, I couldn't imagine. Anyway.
Through your checkpoints and onto and onto planes, because a lot of them feel like they frankly got.
And is it just me, or is this guy not wearing his mask correctly? Sorry.
Screwed here, and that they were lied to, because they had been told by people on the task force, just what I mentioned to Toria, that we know where you are. We're not going to let you. We're not going to strand you. Don't worry. Stay tight. Hold tight. And now. You know, what do they do? I mean, are you in touch also with the green card holders?
So, Matt,
in the last 24 hours?
So let me start by saying we have a special responsibility to American citizens. And that is spelled out in 22 U.S. Code Section 4802. It is spelled out in some detail there, the special responsibility we have to U.S. citizens. We also do have a commitment to LPRs, to lawful permanent residents. And we have been in touch with LPRs. We had good reason at the
time. Then how do you not know how many there are?
As the evacuation operation was underway. So when we first started messaging American citizens, SIVs, other at-risk Afghans, we absolutely did and continue to message lawful permanent residents. So let me just make
He says how many?
Another point here.
Okay, anyway, you can watch the rest of that interview. There's actually, if you want to watch the whole press conference, it's 2 hours and 29 minutes and 50 seconds of more of that. Anyway, and apparently Biden's staff is not happy, and they're, in fact, the word horrified and appalled. Biden administrative staff shocked he left Americans stranded in Afghanistan. You can read this on your own, but not a surprise there. I'm sure there are what the hell? I'm sure there are people in the Biden administration who are going, what did we sign up for here? What the fuck did we sign up for? What are we? Is there any way I can get this off of my resume? Please help me get this off my resume. Oh Lord. Anyway, and also the question that we have now: did General Milley, Milli Vanilli, did he lie to Congress? Chris Wallace appeared on Fox News Wednesday afternoon and discussed the Afghanistan debacle with host Martha MacCallum. During the conversation, Wallace told MacCallum that he has heard from knowledgeable sources that General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, strongly counseled Joe Biden against abandoning Bagram Air Base. Wallace said Milley told Biden in April 2021 that the military should keep a force of 2,500 troops in Afghanistan at Bagram to assist the Afghan military. Biden was at that point considering whether to stick to the conditions-based agreement President Donald Trump, the condition-based agreement the United States of America had negotiated with the Taliban and the Afghan government, or do something else. That agreement set a May 1st withdrawal, but was predicated on whether the Taliban and the Afghan government met certain conditions. The Taliban was advancing in several provinces at the time. Because Biden already broke that agreement, didn't he? He already said he wasn't going to go by it. The decision had not been yet made to abandon Bagram, the largest U.S. base in Afghanistan. Biden had set about undoing all of Trump's policies, making his recent claim that, quote, Trump's withdrawal plan bound his own actions implausible. The choice was Biden's to make: stick to May 1, adopt a new deadline, or adopt a new path entirely. Biden, according to Wallace, overruled General Milley and ordered the military to draw down just 600 to to 600, 700 troops ahead of the full withdrawal, which Biden pegged to September 11th, the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. Biden set that date with the evident intent of getting a photo op for ending the war. It was not based on the country's known fighting season or any other military conditions. Given the condition of Afghanistan, even then, with the Taliban in control of much of it, using September 11th seemed unwise and likely to backfire. Oh, yeah. And what did it do? Anyway, so it raises questions about Milley. If it's true that he advised Biden in April to keep a floor of 2,500 troops in Afghanistan to hold and use Bagram, and then was overruled, why did he testify to Congress in July that he believed he did not need Bagram Air Base at all? Right, here's the clip. Let's see how long this. We'll just see if it's right.
Okay, thank you. And we all do bipartisanly share those concerns. Is it at all possible to keep Bagram Air Force Base?
Could I make a comment, Secretary? So a couple of quick comments here on Bagram. Bagram is not necessary tactically or operationally for what we're going to try to do here with Afghanistan.
Oh, well, that didn't
consolidate on
age well.
Kabul in support of their government. But to back up a little bit on the momentum of the Taliban.
So if General Milley had counseled Biden not to abandon Bagram in April, then he must have believed that keeping the base was necessary. So he's saying that it wasn't necessary. Within a few days, as Milley was aware, on June 23rd, the U.S. would abandon Bagram and cut off intelligence support and aircraft maintenance to the Afghan military, which was stupid. That happened on July 5th. Surely Milley, a four-star general, was aware of the devastating impact this would have on the Afghan military. Milley would have known of and approved the plan by June 23rd, unless the Pentagon was being forced into an even more chaotic handling of Afghanistan than we had been led to believe. If that's the case, Milley and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin should speak up. After telling Congress that the Pentagon did not need Bagram in his June 23rd testimony, Milley discussed the Taliban's advances, downplaying the danger it posed. They were taking territory across Afghanistan with little or no effective resistance. Milley sought to minimize the Taliban's control on June 23rd, claiming it was about 81 district centers, or that about 81 district centers were under their control out of 419 district centers throughout the country, and there's no provincial capital that is underneath the Taliban control, and there's 34 of those. Why did Milley downplay the Taliban threat? The conversation with Biden happened in April, according to Wallace. Then Biden overrules Milley, according to Wallace, and orders the military to draw down to 600 to 700 troops, which the military believed was not enough to hold Bagram and the embassy. But Milley goes along with the decision and approves General Austin Scott Miller's plan to abandon Bagram to keep the embassy secure and its operation ongoing. Even that failed, and the military had to evacuate the embassy staff to the Kabul airport before leaving Afghanistan altogether, abandoning about 10% of the Americans there and thousands of Afghan allies to the Taliban, blah, blah, blah. You know the story from there. So, it almost seems like if Milley advised to keep 2,500 troops and the Bagram Air Force Base, but he told Congress that he believed that it was enough, that the 600 to 700 was enough, then was he telling the truth? Was he telling the truth? Was he telling the truth?
Why the fuck you lying?
That's what I'm wondering. Anyway, so a couple other articles that I'm going to skip right now that Republicans blame Pentagon planner Colin Kahl for the bungled Afghanistan strategy. You can read that one on your own. And then and just Honest Joe spinning the defeat into a victory. Do we really need to tell? Do we really need this one? Is this one just obvious as hell with his address the other day? I haven't. Yeah. Anyway, I'll just leave that for y'all. Let's. Oh, and also there's apparently. So here's an interesting. Just giving an idea of some of the people that are left there. At least 24 Sacramento students and a 3-year-old boy are stranded in Afghanistan. Yeah, by the Afghanistan withdrawal is a total success. even though he left behind so many Americans. The San Juan Unified School District in Sacramento, California, confirmed at least 24 students are still stranded in Afghanistan. This is down from the 150 the school district discovered were in the country after students kept missing school. Took them that to figure it out. ABC 7 San Francisco also reported a 3-year-old boy is still in Afghanistan with his family. They are also residents of Sacramento. The toddler has an American passport. His family members are permanent U.S. residents, so the green card holders. California Representative Jackie Spire and her staff tried to help the family out of Afghanistan. She provided a letter that gave the family permission to safely pass through the Kabul airport and come home. That did not happen. Armed with the letter, the boy, his father, and several other family members approached the airport, but the Taliban attacked. Brown said that, and they were stopped by a Taliban's checkpoint, and they received physical beatings at the gate, and they were pushed back where they had to flee and return to a safe house. I'm really curious about these students, though. ABC Bay Area learned the family and the boy decided to make a move after meeting with other Americans who wanted to leave Afghanistan with the normal channels of the U.S. government in the chaos without the normal channels of the U.S. government in the chaos we left behind. So over 1,400 Afghan refugees attended schools in the San Juan Unified District. Okay, that's what it is. They're not. I was confused by that what they're saying. So apparently, there's a bunch of Afghan refugees who live in Sacramento. The district pulled attendance records and identified about 150 students who might be affected by the turmoil, and almost certain overcount that might also include students who simply transferred to another district. We're trying to determine why these students haven't been at school. Raj Rai, a spokesman with the district, wrote this week. Anecdotally, we have heard that some may be in Afghanistan, but we do not have a concrete number at this point. Rai said students from the Mira Loma High School were among those attempting to return. A 9-year-old boy and a 15-year-old with their mother went to Afghanistan to be with their father as he died from cancer. The older sister is trying to get them home. We're staying at a relative's home in Kabul. They could not make it to the airport. God, it's just, the more I read about this, the more sickened I get by it. Let's see. I'm trying to get past these. And this is just an article in the National Post. You can check this out. Meta-ignorance with profound consequences. U.S. government crisis response director resigned after Biden's State Department canceled Lifeline group over Trump leaks. Oh, this is that. Okay, I do want to go through this one real quick. I might not get to any other but Afghan news. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to do nothing about Afghanistan, but I'll have articles posted, but I'm not going to read. We're going to go to other stuff. I just got to get away from this. So anyway, on August 18, 2021, the National Post exclusively reported that President Biden's State Department had killed off plans for a, quote, crisis and contingency response, end quote, bureau, which may have had profound consequences, according to a stunning new report by Vanity Fair. Now, Vanity Fair is so reliably left that you might be stuck in a left turn lane forever. In July, Anthony Blinken's State Department bureaucratic decisions affecting the Afghan withdrawal, one insider said, were slightly more organized than a choose-your-own-adventure novel. The article begins, but before detailing how newly minted Crisis and Contingency Response Bureau Director William Walters had resigned on July 9th of this year. As the Taliban took Kabul, the National Reports reported that a bureau greenlit by former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and the Trump administration had been canceled by Biden's pick for the role, Anthony Blinken. Following our reporting, a number of left-wing outfits such as PolitiFact and Media Matters sought to discredit our reporting. Now, a new report from Vanity Fair sheds more light on the turf wars inside the State Department that led to the rushed and botched evacuation from Afghanistan at departmental and political levels. The Vanity Fair report also notes that while Biden's State Department is claiming the CCR never existed, it is also making moves to inform Congress of the Bureau's abolition as required by U.S. law. Quote, A week later, on August 19th, State's Ned Price would tell reporters in a sort of semantic jujitsu that CCR was never actually created, which begs the question, why have Price's colleagues at State been preparing to notify Congress of a decision to abolish something that never existed? The academic debate over CCR's existence. Okay, don't start singing CCR songs. This is the what do they call it? The Crisis and Contingency Response Protocol. The academic debate over CCR's existence, however, obscures a far more elemental issue, which at this date remains unresolved. Why did Anthony Blinken and his lieutenants rejigger and possibly degrade State's in-house crisis planning and response capabilities on the eve of ending the longest war in U.S. and American history? Now, this is funny to me in only a sort of ironic way, because one of the biggest criticism of the former president with the funny hair regarding the stupid, remember the stupid 19, was that he abolished the pandemic response team, which is stupid because they created a whole new agency and protocol for responding to such crises. So just because you got rid of one thing doesn't mean it was replaced. But in this case, wonder how big of a story this will be now that Vanity Fair has latched onto it, that Biden replaced this response team that was supposed to be able to deal with this kind of evacuation. While publicly refuting the claims that the CCR had been canceled and simultaneously claiming no competencies were lost in the move, Anthony Blinken lauded Dr. Walter's work in running CCR's predecessor and his team known as OpMed. In May, while setting up to destroy the Trump-era plans for a formal response unit inside the State Department, Blinken told Vanity Fair the unit was a lifeline for the Department of State and the American people. Though perhaps lesser known outside the department, it's vital to our operations. That's because OpMed provides the platform and personnel to save American lives around the world, especially in a time of crisis. Shortly after Blinken approved a recommendation against upgrading OpMed into a bureau, a unit distinguished by its ability to blow through bureaucratic wickets would instead be forced to play Mother May I, answering to a series of administrators, a director, an acting undersecretary, and up to the Deputy Secretary for Management and Resources. To outsiders, this may seem like a low-stakes game of Jenga in reverse, but the move, which blindsided many, appeared to have had profound consequences. It was at this point Walters chose to step down. Quote, "I'm resigning," he told Blinken face-to-face, explaining that the destruction of the CCR Bureau would marginalize his team and hinder State's ability to respond to threats to U.S. citizens abroad. Well, certainly seems like that could have been the case. At any point, it gives you the idea that the never Trump aspect of the Biden administration is costing lives and treasure and all kinds of things. You can read the rest of this article in the description down below. There'll be a link to all the news stories that we have been going through today. Now, I know I'm at the end of my day. There are more articles, though, that I'll just highlight here if you're looking to find out what's in the tabs today. The Taliban had a parade of captured U.S. military hardware, of which they have a lot. I mean, let's put it in perspective. There are, the number, like 140,000 various vehicles, ground vehicles, Humvees and trucks and transports and all that stuff. Hundreds of thousands of weapons, pistols, rifles, lots of heavy artillery. It's insane when you start looking at the list of things they gave away, so to speak. Now, granted, some of the stuff was the possession of the Afghan army, which folded like a pair of sheets coming straight out the dryer. But anyway, so the Taliban had a parade. Aw, I love a parade. Also, Oliver North is talking about the weapons abandonment and how a lot of the weapons that they have seized, including a lot of our military vehicles, helicopters, things like that, will be reverse engineered in China and be used against us probably. Yeah, because the Taliban seem to be working with China or Pakistan or wherever. So now they're going to get a lot of real good U.S. Technology. You know, I have a suggestion. I know that there's, you know how, like, what vehicle is it? Is it Tesla's? I don't know. There are vehicles they should have in every U.S. piece of military equipment. And I know it would be an expensive thing to do, but they should have something like some sort of kill switch or something that would make it non-functioning immediately. You know how you can do that? Like, can't you do that with an iPhone where you just, if someone steals your iPhone, you can have it be disabled? They should have that with like military equipment. I don't know how they would do that. That'd be quite the process. Anyway, and then in some of the other articles we got today, California lawmakers are nixing plan for a vaccine mandate. Oh, good for them. But possibility of the law still looms on the horizon if Governor Newsom remains after the recall election. If you're in California, find a way to get rid of him. So, but the legislatures are seeing the writing on the wall with his recall. Also, in the this woman, this Hawaiian woman is going to face a $5,000 fine and 1 year in jail for a fake vaccination card. The problem is she spelled Moderna wrong. God. Or excuse me, she's not Hawaii. She's from Illinois, but she was trying to go to Hawaii. An Illinois woman faces up to 1 year in jail as well as a $5,000 fine for flashing a counterfeit vaccination card while visiting Hawaii. On Sunday, 24-year-old Chloe Morzak, I don't know, was arrested at Oahu's Daniel Inouye International Airport after she presented a forged vaccination card to security. Authorities were immediately tipped off to the card's illicitness upon seeing Morzak had listed Moderna, M-A-D-E-R-N-A, a misspelling of Moderna, M-O-D-E-R-N-A, as her vaccine of choice. And she's now being held on $2,000 bail. So she could get a $5,000 fine and a year in jail. If you're going to fake a card, spell it right. I feel bad for her, though, because they shouldn't even have to do that. Now there's another variant in South Africa, the most mutated variant yet. A strain has been linked to an increased transmissibility, but has not yet been designated as the variant of concern or variant of interest. So this, I don't know what version this is going to be. Is this going to be version Z? But yeah, because the Delta Reese was the fourth wave, and this one could be the fifth. There's going to be a lot of variants as you see different vaccines being used. So I would just say, I feel safer because I've had it already. I don't know. Hopefully my naturally occurring immunity, which you're not supposed to say, hopefully that is keep me safe from other viruses. Other news, missing ballots in 3 states exceeded Joe Biden's victory margins. In the most perfect, safe, and honest election in the history of the United States ever, there have been some ballot issues in a few states. In Wisconsin, approximately 20,000 votes, despite the missing ballots of missing and undeliverable in the states, amounting 83,000 missing ballots, supposedly that were, well, who knows? We don't know. And then what other state? That's just Wisconsin. I know it happened in Nevada, 93,000 mail-in ballots that are unaccounted for. In other words, they mailed it out and it never came back. We don't know what happened to them. Okay, so the margin of victory, 33,000 ballots. And then isn't it Arizona that they're still... Have they done the report on Arizona yet? The audit? I know a couple other states are starting to do them now. Also in the articles down below, judge dismisses frivolous leftist case arguing that postage stamps are a Jim Crow poll tax. Apparently a black activist group called Black Votes Matter sought to claim ballot postage is an example of a poll tax in the state of Georgia. Three federal appeal court judges dismissed the request last Friday. It is only the latest example of less organized and strategic initiatives to undermine elections across the country by inapplicably invoking Jim Crow laws. So, you can read this. They're saying that they require postage on mail-in ballots. I think maybe it's because you can, I know that you can still vote in person. So a mail-in ballot, and I don't know. It's just crazy. I'm surprised that mail-in ballots aren't return postage guaranteed. I don't know. Anyway, you can read that one. And then, now I don't know if you've heard this news. This was in yesterday's news, but in Texas, there was this. Well, here, I'll just read the beginning. Is Texas shooting the start of a Biden-fueled terrorism surge? A cold-blooded murder in a city in northeast of Dallas over the weekend hasn't exactly made national news yet, but it could be the first in a new wave of terrorist attacks spawned by President Biden's disastrous retreat from Afghanistan. On Sunday, the day before the last U.S. military plane departed from Kabul airport, a gunman shot and killed a Lyft driver in Garland and then drove the car over to a nearby police station and started shooting at people inside. The alleged gunman, later identified as Imran Ali Rashid, died after police gunned him down. The next day, an FBI official said that Rashid may have been inspired by a foreign terrorist organization to commit these crimes, by which he meant was inspired by rhetoric or propaganda by foreign terrorist organizations. Why the FBI got involved at all was because Rashid apparently left a note in the dead Lyft driver's car, which prompted local police to reach out to the Bureau. This has not made the news, has it? What we wonder could have inspired Rashid to go on a killing spree. Could it be that the humiliating defeat of the U.S. at the hands of the fanatical Taliban has energized Islamic radicals around the world, including in Texas? The Economist helps answer that question in the wake of Biden's desperate evacuation and the loss of 13 Americans to terrorist bombs in Kabul. It notes, quote, in Yemen, they set off fireworks. In Somalia, they handed out sweets. In Syria, they praised the Taliban for providing a living example of how to bring down a criminal regime through jihad. Around the world, jihadists were elated by the fall of Kabul. Though willpower, patience, and cunning, a low-budget band of holy warriors has vanquished America and taken charge of a medium-sized country. To Muslims who yearn to expel infidels and overthrow secular states, it was evidence that God approves. The ripple effects could be felt far and wide. Well, far and wide indeed. Switzerland's Federal Intelligence Service is now warning about potential terrorist attacks on Stupid 19 stab centers, transport, and manufacturing facilities. If in the U.S., federal officials are currently on high alert for threats to the homeland, not just because of some of the Afghan citizens we spirit away in our frenzied exit could be terrorists trying to get into the United States, and not just because Biden's wide-open southern border could be a terrorist highway. As CNN reports, another security threat is people already in the U.S. who may be inspired by narratives associated with Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and other foreign terrorist groups, and will view the events in Afghanistan as an opportunity to engage in violence here at home. There's a lot more to this article also, but I'm out of time. But, I wonder if they're ahead of the white supremacists now on that list of the greatest threats to America. Because I'm sorry, but even the January 6th, the ones, the jackasses amongst them don't seem to have been causing a lot of trouble lately. But this is an interesting development that I'm not liking. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say, on that note, pray for our nation. All right, just to do one other thing in the tabs, if you haven't seen the Dr. K, Jimmy from Philly, and David Pakman soiree, I have the Healthy Gamer link in the tabs down. It'll be in the links in the tab down below, and also everything we've gone through today via the news organizations. It is time for me to go though. So thank you guys for being here, especially our sponsors today, Tall Person Jimmy from Philly, Maddie, and whoever is Anu Jackson, who dropped Jackson. I have a sneaky suspicion there is somebody with a bill. But anyway, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button, share the stream. If you haven't, if you're watching on replay, let me know what you think on the question of the day, and otherwise, just let me know you were here in the comment section. I always appreciate that. Just knowing who dropped in offline or off stream. That's always appreciated. And if you want to sponsor the show, all kinds of ways to do that down in the description down below. But that's it for today, people. Time for me to go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I hope you have a spectacular day. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.